Well, folks, it finally happened. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau finally snapped. He unleashed a verbal smackdown on Donald Trump that echoed across the globe. Gone was the diplomatic decorum, replaced with a fiery passion that left everyone stunned. Trudeau, known for his measured responses, transformed into a verbal gladiator. The target? None other than the newly re-elected U.S. President Donald J. Trump. The reason? A laundry list of grievances from trade wars to international incidents had finally reached a boiling point. Buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. 2024, a year that many anticipated with a mix of dread and excitement. The political landscape was charged, and the stakes were higher than ever before. A year that will live in infamy for many, as the world watched with bated breath. The headlines screamed of chaos and uncertainty, capturing the collective anxiety of a nation on edge. But for Trump, it was a triumphant return to the Oval Office. His supporters cheered, believing that their champion had come back to restore what they saw as lost glory. The man who had once been a reality TV star was now back in the most powerful seat in the world. The American people, it seemed, had a bad case of buyer's remorse and wanted their reality show president back. The election results were a clear indication that a significant portion of the electorate felt disillusioned with the current administration and yearned for the bombastic style of leadership that Trump epitomized. But for Canada, Trump's victory was a punch to the gut. The northern neighbor had braced itself for the impact, knowing all too well the kind of turbulence that Trump's policies could bring. Why the long face, Canada? The answer was simple yet complex. The economic and political ripples from the U.S. election were felt immediately, and the uncertainty was palpable. Well, let's just say that Trump's policies have a history of hitting our neighbors to the north where it hurts, their wallets. The economic ties between the two countries meant that any shift in U.S. policy had direct consequences for Canada. Tariffs, trade disputes, and threats of economic retaliation have become the hallmarks of the Trump era, creating a climate of uncertainty and tension. Businesses on both sides of the border were left scrambling to adapt to the new reality, and this time around promised more of the same. The stock markets reacted with volatility, and economic analysts were quick to predict a rocky road ahead. Experts predicted a Canadian recession, a scenario that seemed increasingly likely as the days went by. The economic forecasts were grim, and the mood was somber. With the loonie taking a nosedive faster than a goose on a sugar high, the financial stability of Canada was in jeopardy. The currency's decline was a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the global economy. Yeah, it was that bad. The empty shopping malls and soaring prices painted a bleak picture of the economic landscape. Canadians were left to grapple with the harsh reality of a world where Trump's policies once again held sway. One of Trudeau's biggest beefs? Tariffs. These aren't just any taxes, they're the kind that can make or break economies, especially when imposed by a powerhouse like the United States. Those pesky little taxes on imported goods that Trump seemed to love slapping on anything that crossed the border. From steel to aluminum, no product was safe from the tariff hammer. This time it was a 25% tariff on Canadian goods that sent Trudeau over the edge. The impact was immediate and severe, with Canadian exports to the U.S. plummeting almost overnight. Very dumb, Trudeau fumed, pointing out the obvious, that these tariffs would hurt American consumers just as much as Canadian businesses. Prices for everyday items would skyrocket, hitting the average American's wallet hard. But Trump, never one to back down from a fight, seemed to relish the economic sparring. He saw tariffs as a tool to bring jobs back to America, even if it meant a bruising battle with one of its closest allies. Trudeau, however, wasn't about to take it lying down. He knew that Canada had to stand firm, not just for its economy, but for its dignity on the global stage. He retaliated with tariffs of his own, targeting $107 billion worth of American goods. These weren't random choices. They were carefully selected to hit key industries and regions that would put pressure on Trump. It was a trade war, and the first shots had been fired. The world watched as two of the largest economies went head-to-head, each move scrutinized, each tariff analyzed. The stakes were high, and the outcome uncertain. Trade wasn't the only point of contention. Trump, in a move that surprised absolutely no one, decided to play the blame game. This time, it was the fentanyl crisis, a very real and devastating epidemic ravaging both nations. Trump, however, saw an opportunity to score political points. He accused Canada of being the source of the problem, a claim that Trudeau vehemently denied. "We are not the source of your problems," Trudeau shot back, highlighting the shared responsibility of both countries in tackling the crisis. It was a tense exchange, with both leaders refusing to back down. Section 5. A world divided. The drama didn't stop there. Trudeau also took aim at Trump's foreign policy, or lack thereof, depending on your perspective. From cozying up to dictators to alienating allies, Trump's approach to international relations had been, to put it mildly, chaotic. Trudeau, a staunch advocate for multilateralism and diplomacy, couldn't hold back his frustration. He criticized Trump's isolationist tendencies, his disregard for international agreements, and his overall America First approach that seemed to leave little room for cooperation or compromise. Section 6. Zelensky in the crosshairs. One particular point of contention was Trump's treatment of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump's attempts to pressure Zelensky for dirt on his political rivals, a move that led to his first impeachment, had left a sour taste in the mouths of many world leaders, including Trudeau. Trudeau, a vocal supporter of Ukraine, expressed his disappointment and disapproval of Trump's actions. He reiterated Canada's commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and condemned any attempts to interfere in its democratic processes. It was a clear rebuke of Trump's actions and a reminder of the importance of upholding democratic values. Section 7. The 51st state. And then came the kicker. The moment that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Trump, in a moment of either delusion or drunken bravado, suggested that Canada should just become the 51st state. Because nothing says we respect your sovereignty like trying to absorb your entire country. Trudeau, to his credit, managed to maintain a straight face. He calmly reminded Trump that Canada was, in fact, a sovereign nation with its own history, culture, and identity. He politely but firmly rejected the offer, leaving no doubt that Canada had no intention of becoming another star on the American flag. Section 8. A chasm across the border. Trudeau's speech sent shockwaves across the globe. Here was a world leader, usually known for his diplomacy, publicly calling out the most powerful man in the world. It was a bold move, one that highlighted the growing chasm between the two countries. The implications were significant. The U.S.-Canada relationship, once considered one of the most stable and friendly in the world, was showing signs of strain. The economic and political fallout from their disagreements was already being felt, and the future looked uncertain. Section 9. The future of the Great White North. So what does the future hold for Canada in the age of Trump 2.0? With the global political landscape shifting rapidly, Canada finds itself at a pivotal moment. The decisions made today will shape the nation's trajectory for decades to come. It's a question that has many Canadians feeling anxious. The uncertainty of the times is palpable, and the conversations happening in homes, cafes, and workplaces reflect a nation on edge. The economic outlook is uncertain, with markets reacting to every piece of news, and businesses grappling with the new realities of a post-pandemic world. Small towns and big cities alike are feeling the strain. The political climate is tense, as leaders debate the best path forward. Protests and rallies have become a common sight, with citizens demanding action and accountability from their elected officials. And the relationship with their southern neighbor is at a crossroads. The long-standing partnership with the United States is being tested like never before, with trade agreements and diplomatic ties hanging in the balance. But if there's one thing Canadians are known for, it's their resilience. In times of crisis, they come together, supporting one another and finding strength in community. They've weathered storms before, both literal and metaphorical, and each challenge has only made them stronger. From natural disasters to economic downturns, Canadians have always found a way to rebuild and move forward, and they'll weather this one too. The spirit of perseverance runs deep in the Canadian psyche, a testament to their enduring optimism and determination. Trudeau's speech, while shocking to some, was a reminder that Canada will not be bullied. His words echoed the sentiments of a nation that values its sovereignty and independence. They will stand up for their values, their interests, and their place in the world. The Canadian identity is built on principles of fairness, inclusivity, and respect, and these will guide them through the challenges ahead. On the global stage, Canada will continue to be a voice of reason and a force for good. Their commitment to international cooperation and human rights remains unwavering. The road ahead may be bumpy, filled with obstacles and unforeseen challenges, but these are the moments that define a nation, testing its resolve and shaping its future. But Canada will face it head-on, with their heads held high and a determination that is uniquely their own. The strength of their character will see them through. With their heads held high, they will navigate these turbulent times, drawing on the diverse talents and unwavering spirit of their people, and their maple syrup flowing strong. A symbol of their rich heritage and sweet future, it reminds us that even in uncertain times, the essence of Canada remains unchanged.